Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Men's Corner, where men talk real, relevant emotions about life. I'm your co-host, Fahim, and it's our main apple scrapple right here, the big fella, the host extraordinaire, Six. I'm the treble.
I'm the base.
Real simple. Keep it real simple. Today, coming at you live. Today's date is what? Oh, it's after tax day, April 16th,
Man.
2025.
Yep.
If you haven't done so, make sure you put in all your information and send your tax stuff away and all that stuff. But we want to take this time to also give out a shout out to our production extraordinaire, production overseer extraordinaire for today's segment from Us First Productions, and that's Big Scott Majette. Scott, all that stuff right there. We will put all the little fake claps in, but we ain't doing nothing fake. Everything real. Oh, got something to talk to you about too. Before we get into the real talk, we're gonna talk some stuff about all these layoffs that's going on. But I just had to lay this to you. Was talking to Trouble Smith
Mhm.
at Jazz's one day. Trouble Smith said everything should just be live. He said if you do everything live, then you don't want to edit nothing off of none of his shows. He said whenever he come on, if he come on, he say shoot it live and just let live go, and whatever is said is said. You don't want no edits or none of that. And I said, well, Trouble, but sometimes you want to edit stuff because the sound may not be right. It may be this or that. He don't want no edits or none of that. He's prepared to come back on and do something real nice with us on something different.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk a little heavy on that. And
I saw they put something out on his bio or some type of footage they got out right now.
yeah. So, but we had a nice conversation, man, and so we can look for that and look forward to upcoming shows with your man, Baby
Dome and Stacey Robinson.
Stacey Robinson
Talking about
coming
that
back.
in the day thing.
Yeah, we're gonna make this thing real happenstance around here. But we was just sitting around talking before this, and we really want to talk about these layoffs that's occurring and happening right about now. A lot of people being affected by the I guess I don't know how we can coin it, man. The Trumpster,
Well,
the Trumpster doing a lot of damage, but he doing damage that he said he would do.
right.
It's like a catch-22. You don't appreciate what's being done, but we already knew that it was going to be done because he said it as soon as he started coming back on his revenge tour.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a revenge show, but I get what you're saying.
He kept. But the reason why I said revenge tour is that it seemed like he came back and everything that had anything to do with his 20, not the 2016 election, the 20, what was that, 2020?
Yeah.
The 2020 election that he lost. Anything that had anything to do with that, anybody that had something to do with it, he coming in for him, man. All those organizations. And he said he was coming back. The people voted him in. Now, while we thinking about that, big fella, I'm really sick and tired of hearing a whole lot of our people sit there and keep blaming our people for voting somebody in office. Now everybody's saying, well, now y'all see what he doing. Y'all voted him in. Who y'all talking to? Because the numbers don't support that a fuselage of African-American men or people voted for him. So why are we sitting here going at each other about what the man is doing anyway? I'm not understanding that. But hey, who am I?
I think what a lot of us have failed to realize that we've been needed to come together, no matter who was in office, because most politics don't fit our culture anyway.
Right.
It has yet to pull any of us out of poverty, and it has yet to still give us the resources that's needed in our communities. If you see like what crime is, that's mainly our community, and we don't hold each other accountable. Like I'm so sick of us saying like I don't talk to these people, I don't talk to those people, but when we gonna talk to each other?
Man.
Right.
That's real.
So if you don't want to talk to the police, you don't want to talk to politicians, when we talk to each other, and it can't be when it fits our narrative. It got to fit all of our narrative. You know, we come from a history of civil rights. We come from a history, because they say civil rights, most people didn't even want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because it alleviated black businesses. You know, so like when we start talking about these things, we got to understand the history, because what we do know, some of us, I ain't gonna say all, but some of us know in our families, we talk about health history, education history, how we came up history. But when it started to talk about pulling all that together, everybody's an Indian, but everybody say they chiefs.
Indians, but want to be chiefs.
Yeah.
So, and at the end of the day, you calling good money on that, but we don't talk to each other about the things that actually matter. But we can accuse each other
Right.
for everything that don't matter. You know, and just looking at a lot of the social media posts. And, you know, listen, at the end of the day, this is something that I was telling the brother this earlier today. I said, listen, right now, not just Black America, white America, Hispanic American, Chinese American, whatever American you are, right now, this is not the time for separation.
Oh, no.
We can't do that. We can't even talk about that. What I'm looking at is this. This is the one commonality. Now, a lot of people may not understand this, but those of us that had a lot of family members that's gone through this process, I'm talking about the prison system or been in that judicial system. Right now, I've considered myself doing a 3.5 year hit. Like I'm locked up for 3.5 years. Because I am so uncertain about where we're going. All I'm doing is saying, man, I'm just locked up right now. And so I got to wait this process out. Because we can't do a whole lot to change what's going on until, you know, the government make their decisions.
I beg to differ. I think a lot of us can do it. Like they can change some stuff. Let's just go to when somebody gets sick or somebody die. What's the first thing we post? GoFundMe. Right. So we get that done. Like I guess, and then some of us get sick. They're like, man, you knew you needed insurance. You know you needed this, and it's almost like waking up with no water. You knew you should have washed your ass before you went to bed, but you wake up and your water.
Right.
You know, like we have to start preparing ourselves for things like that. Like a lot of us don't even know how to grow nothing.
Weed.
Yeah.
They know how to grow weed.
I don't think they grow that probably, because they spraying that with everything. So that ain't even weed no more.
Nah, you're right.
So it's so much stuff involved in weed. So, but to get to like the job things, like we got to learn how to. We know somebody that's laid off. We have to learn how to pick them up. Like I try to keep it. And I hate saying I.
But when you putting in the work, you have to give yourself credit, man.
Right, but we got to learn how to pick each other up, because sitting around in the house depressed, that leads to suicide, depression, not eating properly, sadness. And if you're sitting in a room, like I hate for when they tell us if it's a snowstorm, stay in the house. Your walls begin to close in on you. Because like that's not what you're used to doing. If you grew up being outside,
right,
as an adult, you go outside.
Pretty much like what they did with COVID.
Right.
When COVID came in, everybody stayed in the house, and we didn't get outside. So okay.
Yeah, it was to a point where you had to have a letter to move around without being arrested or detained or something, because they wanted everybody to stay in. But those are the things that we have to prepare ourselves for. We knew once he got in office, we should have started mounting up, not to fight him,
right,
but to be one another's check in and check on each other.
Right.
Like, don't check on me in text. I could tell you anything in a text message. I'm good. But if I talk to you, I get to hear how you sound.
Right.
Like that's a different check.
But having, because you don't have a problem with doing this. You never have a problem with calling it what it is, holding someone accountable for, wait a minute, you saying one thing, man, but I'm hearing something totally different. If I'm wrong, then I stand corrected, you know. But let me ask you this. Is Trump a bad president? Is Trump a misinformed president? Or is he a president on get back? He's been president before. So we can't say that he don't know the office, because he was president before.
I don't know whether to say good or bad. What I do know, he's making some changes. I can't say I agree or disagree.
Okay.
What I do know is some of this stuff has been going on for years, and we have yet to say anything about it. It looked like some of the things that he's doing probably should have been changed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, then there's some things that he's doing probably should have been left alone. But who am I? Because I don't get into politics or politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So which one is he playing? See, that's the question. Is he playing politician or he playing politics? So until we are behind that door, it's like we really can't touch on that. But what we can touch on is the people that look like us and the people that surround us are losing their jobs.
So, that's one thing. And from a men's corner perspective, particularly talking to a lot of men out there, what are we doing as men to reinvent ourselves in this historical moment of time right now? Because that's what I'm hearing you say, that we got to figure out a way to reinvent who we are. If they're taking the jobs away, you come in one day, you got a job, then later on, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock that evening, they tell you, you've been ripped, or trying to get you to sign off on something. How do we reinvent ourselves to help each other out? You mentioned GoFundMe account, like somebody died, it's a GoFundMe account. But are we able to do GoFundMe accounts to put it in one kitty, and then be able to extract monies from that kitty and give out to people in need as they show themselves approved to need it?
We have the resources to do that, and we have the mindset to do it. The problem with us doing it, we worrying about who makes more than the next.
Who's going to be the leader? Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
Everybody's a chief until it's time to be a chief. Then you don't want the responsibility. Because being a chief, you never turn off. So if you're in business for yourself, it's not like going to a job.
Yeah.
You go to a job, if it allow you leave, you accumulate leave. Some every pay period, you accumulate leave over the year. When you go to work for yourself, there is no leave. When you leave, you're gone.
You're gone. The health insurance and all that, you
It's
have to
on
pay
you.
on everything is on you.
On you.
Yeah.
So, and that's the piece that a lot of us don't understand. Like, we see money coming in, but we don't see what goes out. So you got insurances, you got health benefits if you can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because see, most small businesses can't afford health benefits. Most small businesses can't afford leave pay.
Right. Right.
Because I can't pay you not to be here.
No, that's true. If no one's there and people are coming, who's going to run the shop?
So most, it's like the percentage, and we probably should have looked at the percentage of rich people of Fortune 500 companies isn't high.
Nah.
The what's the name of us being males and making over $150,000 isn't high. So until we understand, like when we were kids and we was in the middle of the floor and you had $1, I had 50 cents, midget had a quarter. We put it all on the floor and we bought candy and everybody ate the same in the middle of the floor. Until we get back to that childhood mentality where we put our money together and everybody ate, we're going to continue to fail.
Wow. And you know what? It's interesting you say that, because there's a report now. Of course, I'm doing what everybody else do. We go into AI overview and all that stuff. And the median, AI is reporting that the median weekly earnings for Black men are approximately $1,017, which is about 76% of the median for white men, who earn $1,300. In 2021, Black males with full-time employment earned a median of $46,000 a year, compared to $60,428 for all men. That's some health stats. And then you turn around, we're not talking about Black men who have families.
Right.
Because if you add a family to that, then those numbers really dwindle down. This is over. Now, this is gross.
Now, if you have a spouse, then that helps if they work.
Yeah.
If they work, but it's not many people that can afford a woman to stay home all day anymore.
Wow.
So like we got to understand that. So it's this thing, and I ain't gonna say who because I want to get into that. So it's this thing I spoke to a guy, and he asked the guy, "Why do you do what you do for these kids?" And the guy told him, "This was my way of tithing, because they don't go to church."
Wow.
So if you look at that, so most of us go to a building and give to a building.
Right.
Some of those buildings don't give back. And if you a member, you sometimes got to pay for your body to lay in that place.
Now that's another topic for another day, particularly bringing in members of the clergy to talk about giving back in this environment. Because now, and you know what's interesting is we see a whole bunch of clergy on social media, on the news, and all that stuff speaking about everything that's going on.
Right.
You know,
but we can pull on that. But I brung that up because that 10%,
yeah,
if we all came together and gave 10%, now are you gonna be able to pull your 10% back out? Probably not. Because there'd be a time where that person over there that just lost that federal government job and hoping to get a call to come back in June 2nd, because that's what they're doing. They land people off and hoping that they bring some of those people back in June. We sitting around living our lives and we are all affected by that.
Yeah.
Because let's say that federal government worker, and just let's use a local business owner. Let's use Kenny Weststreet. We are one.
Yeah.
You think that doesn't affect his business?
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. Because if I'm not working where I would normally go and get a couple of sweatsuits from him, or where I would go and get a couple of sweat hoodies from the flag company or whatever, I can't afford it right now. So now it's going to affect your bottom line.
So what happens to that, brother? So it's like a ripple effect. And that's what, we just walk around here and not giving a damn most of the time because it hasn't hit us. And we got to get out of that frame of mind about us, meaning personal us versus all of us.
That's major, man. It's a lot of pressure right now, Six. Yeah. There's a lot of pressure, man.
But I think we can handle it. We've been through recessions. We've been through slavery, which wasn't no easy thing that we haven't seen it, but we have connections to it.
Well, we're kind of seeing it today in a modern time through technological matters.
I wouldn't put that together.
You may not put it together, but the bottom line to it is we're being enslaved to a lot of stuff. Watch it. How many of us are now enslaved to our phones? This little device right here.
Yeah, but I'm talking about. I get this. See, we can technically live without it, but we can't because this is the most powerful thing on the world right now.
Right, because we became addicted to it. So we're enslaved to it. Where if you leave out the house and don't have it, you are going to double back and
feel. Do without your phone?
It's tough. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you, I've tried. I'm being honest. I tried to just sit in the house, don't pay no attention to the phone the whole 9 yards, right?
You can't.
I can, but it is a chore now because I've allowed myself to become more dependent on it when it's available than not dependent on it because it's not there.
Right, but
like I don't pay no attention to my in-home house, right? The house phone. Don't worry about the house phone. I'm concerned about this.
But this is what I'm saying about the job loss, right?
Okay.
With this. We need it because it's the most important thing of our lives right now, because it's the most powerful thing in the world. If I can send a job to somebody, see, before, when you first started your summer youth job, how did you know about it? In the newspaper.
Yeah.
Well, they get the paper no more.
Yeah.
So this is our way of communicating with one another, and we got to get back to that because, like, I've spoken to a few people that's in the federal government, and the district government have some, but now they go to a freeze because of what may happen with the federal dollar.
Not sure what the house going
right.
Yeah.
So, and then we also got to be like, hey, because I can't just keep sitting back making an excuse about what we see on TV and social media and not be a problem solver. Because we do more complaining than we do problem solving.
Right. Resolution. Right.
We don't
resolve anything. Yeah, we lay out all the problems. But when someone say, back in the day, they used to tell us, don't come to me with a problem if you have no solutions to back it up. Right. At least give me something to work with. So, but it's how difficult is it to navigate through the mental health of so many people and their uncertainty about what's going
I'm
on?
glad you asked. That's when we go to checking on folks. That's
Okay.
when we go to, because again, we quick to say, damn man, why they killed themselves?
Mm,
But we knew they were struggling. See, we struggle in silence.
mm,
We complain out loud
mm,
amongst each other. Like that's why I go to the barber shop.
mm,
Everybody having the same conversation,
mm.
but nobody's wrong. Everybody, right?
Everybody right. And so, it's interesting you say that. So we're going to take a pause for the cause, and we're going to come right back, and we're going to talk about how we can infuse the decision-making processes into reinventing ourselves, particularly as men. What should men be doing at this particular time in history? Black men, and specifically, what should we be doing during this time in history to change the narrative of reinventing ourselves so that we don't get caught up in this nonsense again? See you in 30 seconds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Men's Corner. And again, I'm the Trouble. This is the
Base.
yeah. And we're here at the Men's Corner where men talk real, relevant emotions about life. And we wanted to piggyback a little more and talk a little further about the loss of jobs and things of that nature, and how we're trying to reinvent ourselves in these very tumultuous times that we're having. How do we go about reinventing ourselves to make things better during a time where we have no crystal ball to know what's going to happen within the near future? Everybody's on pins and needles right now. Everybody.
Yeah, we stopped learning how to care about one another, man.
Mm,
We got to get back to that. Like, we can't keep hiding behind phones and text messages. Pick the damn phone up. It worked. We ain't in them days where it was $5 a minute, or you got to wait till you're free nights and weekends. Like, pick the phone up and call people, man.
But what about people who don't know, who never been taught how to do that? Like, a lot of people don't know how to be emotional, man. Some people just can't really handle it. How do you?
Don't even be emotional. Let's just go back outside.
That's
We went
big.
outside. We had to talk to each other.
That's big. Until the street lights came on, and then when the street lights came on, we tried to stay outside with that.
You ain't had to be emotional. Just talk to somebody, and not so much of like being a burden as to keep talking about what's taking place in their life.
Right.
Like sometimes we just need a moment to just reflect on something else.
Yeah.
When it's like we got to get away from like when people die and be like, man, call me if you need something. Like, you know damn well you ain't answering my call at 3 a.m. when I'm suffering.
And you and I talked about that a lot, man. When people would say that's crazy. Yeah.
Right. So with the job thing, like we just gotta be normals. It's this thing where doctors say if you connected to a cancer patient, be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say the only way for them to heal is you being yourself, not just keep talking about the illness. Let's not just keep talking about the job loss, but just let's have a conversation. Hey, man, grocery.
I like that. I like that because what you said without even saying it is, in order to help someone heal, they have to see healing.
Right.
So you can't keep coming at me. If you coming at me looking down and, talking about all the problems and I'm trying to heal, how does that help me? It doesn't. So I need to see the good that's happening in you and where you are. It's a very difficult piece, man. Good God Almighty, man. Where are all our decision makers today
But we don't have
to help us get up out of these, to help us through these times?
All our true leaders are up in age, right? And we haven't seen many come behind to lead. And I don't think we need leaders. I think we just need each other.
I like that. I like that.
We say we brothers and we call it. people that are not even our family members because we're connected to the parent. That's nephew and that's niece, and like we gotta really stop playing with words. Like really mean that. Not that niece need your money.
Right.
Niece may just need your ear. Niece parent may just need your ear or just need a different conversation because we're all suffering from something.
And then these times it's even more prevalent. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to, Six, who told me that they've lost their jobs.
Right.
And particularly in the federal government. I mean, it's been a lot of people been calling, men and women, like, you know, like you said, bruh, do you know anybody that may be hiring in this position? You know, I did this, I did that. And so, if you know anybody that can help me out. But most of our connects may be in the government arena that got freezes on in terms of hiring. So what I've been telling people to do is, so that you don't miss out on much, right now may be the best time. If you've never done it before, right now may be the best time to humble yourself. And if you lost your job and you're trying to figure out a way, those minimum wage jobs that they have out here, that $15 an hour can go a long way than no dollars an hour while you're trying to work yourself through this process instead of sitting back and doing absolutely nothing and wallowing in that pity. Because you can't get nothing from wallowing in the pity. You know, you can't have a pity party every day. You got to get up and do something about it. So I think that, like we used to talk about McDonald's all the time. Nobody want to work in McDonald's, but everybody want to go there to get a Big Mac. You want to take your kids to eat in a place that you won't go and get a job in. Well, right now, I haven't heard anybody say that McDonald's not hiring. I haven't heard McDonald's say they got major layoffs, and I'm just using that as an entity. But I think that we, in terms of reinventing ourselves, we have to kind of go back also to what it was that helped us through the struggles anyway.
Yeah, it's jobs out there. It's just if people willing to go do them. Like, you know, everybody was short-staffed before the layoff. But there are jobs out there. I'm not saying that everybody wants to be a police. I'm not saying that everybody wants to go to Home Depot, but all of those places are short-staffed.
Yeah.
And for some jobs, like let's say you come from HR, don't mean you got to return to HR because what I've learned, man, and I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'm not even gonna sit here and fake like I got the answers, but this is what I will say: every job got to train you.
Yes, sir. Oh no. Say that again, because people tell you in a heartbeat, you don't have the experience. Like, what experience you want? I don't need no. I can think.
Yeah, so every job have to train you.
Right.
And you know, and I get it. Some people are just strong in that what's name. Sometimes it's about getting in the door. You know, it's a saying where it's like, don't leave a job unless you have a job.
Yeah.
In this case, people didn't get that amount of time to look for a job. Right. So when you go like, and sometimes when we had these interview tables, man, it's okay to be authentic. Listen, I know I'm educated enough for the job, but I really don't know the job. Like, do y'all train?
Yeah.
Like, ask that question. You know, and I know people don't just want to go to the interview table and waste people's time, but it's this thing also what we was talking about, the most powerful thing in the world. You can get the information off of.
Yes, sir.
Because a lot of us go in that joint still don't look up the damn place.
Yeah. And then that was something that, and I think before we talked about this back in the day, and I think when you was making the transition to grab hold of some jobs and some opportunities, and I think one thing I told you was, if you don't do nothing, look up the job, look up the organization, read their history. You want to go in there acting like you already know who you're going to be working for and where you're going. But so many people don't do that. And even knowing a lot of jobs, what was a question that most interviewers would say, you got any questions for us? Do you know how many people leave and say, nah, I just want to thank y'all for giving me the opportunity? Nah, one of the biggest questions that I have right now, anytime a job is available, I always ask this question. Where is the person who had the job before this job became available for me to acquire it? What are they doing now? Let me tell you why. Because a lot of times the person that you're interviewing with may be the person that had the job
Yeah.
before it became available. That's the reason why it's open, because they left and got a raise. They got a promotion. So they're hiring for their successor. If I know that, my thought process is a little different. My energy is a little different versus thinking, oh, these people just interviewing me, but I'm going over here to work with Adrian and he hasn't seen me yet.
Man, I got another question. What's stopping you from hiring me?
Ooh. Hey, Slim. Nah, that's heavy. That's heavy. So essentially, we basically can give, and that'd be a hell of a piece to bring some HR people in here, people who actually do hiring, to say, can you talk to in these tumultuous times? So many people are going to be looking for jobs now. They have to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
What line of questions or how should they and what line of answers should they have for the most common of questions so that they don't sound robotic, and then, people say, tell me a little bit about you. Well, what do you want to know? You want to know a little bit or a lot, man? At 60 years old, there's a lot about me. You ask me, tell you a little
That's
bit.
the wrong thing to say because you can't answer a question with a question.
Yeah.
They ask you a question, you gonna ask someone back with no answer.
But now here's the thing. I'm under the impression that no matter where you go, people already know who they want to hire. People I already have an image in my mind of what I'm looking for. It's just like in the acting world. People don't write scripts without an image of a character or the person in their mind. This person got to be 6'3", 6'4", 240, cut up, ripped up, cocoa colored skin, bald head, all that stuff. When you're writing your script and writing the character, you've already articulated who you want. They're doing the same thing with jobs. So we have to ask, be able to ask those questions. What are you looking for?
Yeah, but you got to answer them first. I just don't agree with a question with a question. I think that's bad with grammar or his or English. Yeah, like you don't answer a question with a question. But again, like us as folks, and again, let us make this statement. We don't have all the answers. I don't want people to be like, we got the answer. We just throwing some stuff at you all that may have worked for us or may work for some people we know. But at the end of the day, like we as people have to come together. We got to give resources. We got to give information. And people, not saying to go run and get it, but just be open to it.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I'm helping, but I'm being a problem for you or to you. Because again, sadness alone is a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, job loss, death, relationship loss, a lot of things you'd be sad by yourself, man, and it's just not a good look for your mental, because it'll have you stuck in so many places, but the place where you need to be.
Yeah. And one thing I do know, this current administration has laid down a blueprint and a plan or a blueprint for more self introspection than anything. I need to look inside of me now. I can't keep looking outside for the answers no more. I really got to start looking inside of me. And then looking inside of me, I have to determine how truthful I'm going to be or I'm willing to be with myself and who I am. And a lot of people are not being truthful with who they are. And so your struggles are that much more magnified because you've been lying to you think you the baddest joker on the job. Like you got all the answers. You the only one can do this. We used to hear them people, man, I'm the best. I'm the one they come to for everything. Well now you weren't that damn valuable because they got rid of you. Now what are you going to do? Again, I'm on that. How you going to reinvent yourself, man?
The reinvent yourself, you said it, like you got to get in that mirror and be truthful. And most of us lying like shit to ourselves.
Yeah.
We know we need to lose weight. We know we got to change our attitude. And if we did just those two things, just your attitude, like that'll take us a long way. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain. Like if we know, we think we know it all.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't. Like it's always, they say it's two ways to do something. But most of us is like, nah, this the way.
Yeah.
How about a shortcut? Why they invent ways?
Yeah, I like that. And so having said that, we're gonna come back with our roundup, and we're gonna see you in a minute. When we be right back. Men's Corner, relevant emotions about life, where men talk real.
All right, back, man. We back, man. We back after the, a little break. We was wrapping up, talking about job loss and how to bring yourself to an interview and communicate with folks with sadness and try to just touch on some folks that can try to uplift you or whoever watching this, uplift the person that's sad, because what we don't need is our people killing each other.
Yeah.
Or killing themselves.
Yeah.
Because we got enough killing going on. But again, like be a resource to somebody and not just a person that just grab the information to go chat and talk about, such and such lost their job. Like, don't be that person. Just try to find a resource or lift somebody up. Just get them outside the four walls and, for a second so they can relieve some of the stress that they've been dealing with. Just being at work knowing that you're going to lose your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
You at work don't know when your last day.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's happening a lot more and more, man. And, I guess now people are saying it's a great time to be in private industry because private industry seems to be moving along, and right now just government is tough. But, you call good money, Six. At the end of the day, we have to stop playing games with each other. We have to start holding ourselves more accountable for how we respond to certain situations. And just matter of fact, just be open and be truthful in who we are, what we're attempting to do, and stop faking like everything all right. Man, if it's not all right, just simply say, man, it ain't all right. I'm hurting. And okay, so now what do you need from me? Don't give me that nonsense about, man, you know what I'm saying? So I'm good. But then your actions are saying something totally different from what your words are saying.
So you got to be careful with what you need from me.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because
But
if I tell you I need $5,000,
I ain't got that.
But you got to be careful with that question.
Yeah, but I can say I don't have it though.
Yeah, but
You didn't ask for it.
Listen, what I'm saying. You got to be careful with your question when you're dealing with people in sorrow. Right.
I get that.
And sadness, man. We don't think straight, even in death, right? Like,
Yeah,
we don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
straight.
we don't.
We lose somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a loved one we lose, we not in a right state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
You sit in a job knowing you losing your job, and then you just up and get to your job, and your key badge and stuff don't work.
Don't work.
Like your mental ain't there.
Right.
And we gotta be cognizant to understanding one another's space, because ain't nobody, you're not gonna let nobody walk up to you and be like, hey man, you lost somebody, man, let me know what you need. Hell, we all know what somebody needs when somebody die. Money.
Most people need money.
Right. So regardless if they have insurance or not, you need money.
Okay.
Right. So
But I think that comes from sometimes I may say what you need, and you got 2,500, you need 3,000, so you need 500.
But most of us that ask that question don't have
we don't have to give.
We don't have to give.
I feel you on that.
Right.
That's
so
money.
and like we gotta find a solution, right? And sometimes it's okay to say what you can get. Instead of just leaving a blanket. You don't have a blank check.
Hey man, I got
man, people check, write whatever you want on that. We don't have that. Because we all still need to live. But again, let's just go back to the church thing. If we can just give 5%, we ain't gotta get a whole 10, because we know even they had kids, they got bills. We don't know how the unemployment kick in. But we so worried about, well, what you was doing with your money, why you ain't say your money. We in all that. We the most background dancingest people in the world.
Yeah. That's real talk. And even like you said, even with I don't understand how our religious institutions are requiring people to pay something a standard every month and don't keep a recordation of that standard requirement. So if you're asking someone to give to me, if my mother is giving $250 a month in her tithes, is somebody recording this? And what is it going? I know some of the money is going towards the building fund and the electric and the water and all that stuff. But what happens when she needs a helping hand? So now you want, if she had taken her 250 and instead of, if she had taken 200 of the 250 and actually put it in an interest bearing savings account, she wouldn't have to worry about where to get her money from.
Well,
Right. But then somebody say you're not giving your all to this. So it's
bro, it's twofold. We got to be responsible for what we give, and they supposed to be responsible
for
for
what they take.
what they take.
Yeah.
Like it's twofold. Also, is this thing called accountability. We keep using that word in damn near every other show. We don't hold each other accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can't wait till we lose people or get pissed, and then we want to hold people accountable. It comes off wrong.
Yeah.
Like when you at a level head, it comes off different. When you piss, mad, sad, it's a different feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell people how to feel.
Right.
Like especially when you lost something, job, kid, parent, shit, lost $10.
Yeah.
You mad when you lose money.
Yeah.
I know I had
Yeah.
But and it's like we don't walk around like that all day long. And again, we don't walk around like this until it happens to us.
Right.
We see it happening. We gotta be more mindful to care for one another. Cause we want it.
Right.
When it happened to us, we want somebody to care for us.
Yeah.
But nobody want to keep suffering in silence. And we got to be mindful of those things as I don't even care what color you are. We got to be mindful of the fact of holding each other accountable and picking each other up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just sad that we almost got to wait till somebody fall to pick them up. But then we at a point right now where your ass down and we're like, damn, that's messed up, and step right over you.
Yeah.
And you know, we up the gym. Man, you know, Slim, man, Lord, I ain't fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, is that the proper way? And that's why we don't come to each other for like solutions or just to talk. Like I was talking to a buddy and he was like, man, he told somebody, man, you need some friends. He was like, no, I'm going to talk to a shrink.
Mm.
But it start with your friends before you probably can get to the shrink if you have the insurance to do so.
Yeah.
But it start with somebody, but we got to stop giving wrong information.
Yeah.
I come to you, I say, Fareem, man, I'm fucked up, man. I ain't looking for a return, but my nigga go and kill yourself. I can't help you, dog.
Or you know, it's the equivalent when people, we're gonna wrap this thing up, but it's the equivalent when people say, hey, y'all, hey, pray for me. Y'all pray for y'all, everybody pray for my mother, pray for my how you want my prayer to be? Can you be a little more specific? Because I don't know how to pray globally. I have to be specific in my requests, right? But hey, at the end of the day, we'll get our way. We'll come up out of this piece. We've been through worse, and we're going to come through it with flying colors as we've always done. And, you know, for my part in wrapping this thing up, I really want to tell you that if you haven't sought out some type of assistance or help from someone, if you've been in a state of loss and grief, seek some assistance from somebody, talk to somebody, anybody, just open up and have that discussion with them. Because grief is not just about the death of a physical body. Grief is the death of your job, the death of your resources, the death of your finances, the death of your mentality, your stronghold on life. And you can be grieving the loss of those things. So get with somebody, anybody, and have an open-ended conversation about it and tell the people honestly, how you can help them, the things that you need so that you can start the process again. 6.
I'm gonna end y'all with this. Just learn how to love on one another again. We did it before. We just got to get back to it. Stop being so damn selfish. Caring for somebody only take a minute or two. It don't take your whole damn 24. Just a minute or two and checking on somebody. That's it. That's all. That's all I have to say. And I'm out.
And that's another segment of the Men's Corner, where men talk real, relevant emotions about life. We thank you so much. Don't forget, you can go on all our platforms, like it, comment on it, share it, do whatever you got to do. And also, we're also looking for sponsorships. If this is something that you like to get behind, we open to it. Come on, talk to us. Put the ads on for you, the whole 9 yards. So again, thank you so much. Enjoy yourselves, and while y'all out there, be safe.